All right, let's talk about something that affects pretty much everything in our world, but that most of us never ever think about. It's this hidden system, this kind of global rule book that decides who owns what piece of land and why. It's called land governance, and honestly, it's one of the most important issues out there.
And it all really starts with this one kind of shocking number: 70%. The World Bank estimates that 70% of the world's population doesn't have formally registered rights to the land they live on. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The huge majority of people on this planet can't legally prove that their home is their home.
So, what does that actually mean? What is it like to be one of the billions of people living inside this 70% problem? Because this isn't just some abstract issue about paperwork. This is a fundamental breakdown in how we manage our world. The way to think about land governance is like an operating system for our planet's land, right? It's supposed to manage who gets to use land, how they can use it, and what happens when people disagree. And when that OS is running smoothly, society works. But when it crashes, well, that's when you get chaos.
And that's really the key thing to get here. A failure in land governance isn't just some boring bureaucratic mess. It has massive, real-world consequences. It traps people in poverty, it fuels conflict, and it can hold entire countries back. It creates deeply, deeply human problems. To really understand what this looks like for people on the ground, let's dive into the reality of that 70%, and specifically this global phenomenon of what we call informal settlements.
So what is an informal settlement? You might know them as slums or squatter communities, but they're basically cities, built outside the law. This is where people build their homes on land they don't legally own, because the formal system has just completely failed them, completely left them behind. And why do they keep growing? Well, you have to understand, this is almost never a choice. It's a direct result of these huge global forces. People are moving to cities looking for work, for a better life. But when they get there, housing prices are through the roof, and there's just no affordable legal land available. They're forced to build a life on the edges of society. This quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. Life in these communities is defined by a constant, nagging fear. Think about it. You could live in your home for 20 years, raise your kids there, build a community. But without that piece of paper, you live with a daily terror that it could all be bulldozed tomorrow.
And the consequences just cascade. It's a domino effect. First, you can be evicted at any time because you don't have a title, you can't sell your land, and you can't use it as collateral for a loan, so forget about starting a small business or paying for school. You're basically invisible to the government, cut off from basic services. You are locked out of the entire formal economy.
Okay, but there is a solution, and it's this incredibly revolutionary but also just common sense approach that's flipping this whole problem on its head. It's called fit-for-purpose land administration. And the difference is just it's night and day. See, the old traditional way of doing this was super rigid, incredibly expensive, and took forever. It demanded millimeter-level accuracy for every single farm plot. The fit-for-purpose approach, it's flexible, it's pragmatic, it's designed to be fast, affordable, and to actually include the local community. It's built for the real world. So how does it actually work? Well, it's based on 4 really simple but powerful ideas. 1, use general boundaries. Things people can actually see, like a fence or a road. That's good enough. 2, use modern tech, like aerial and satellite images, instead of spending ages on expensive ground surveys. 3, and this is a big one, make the accuracy fit the purpose. You don't need a surgeon's precision to map a cornfield. And 4, build a system that can be improved over time. Just get it done now and make it better later. This whole thing really comes down to one core philosophy: as little as possible, as much as necessary. It's all about designing a system that solves the most urgent problem, which is that fear of being kicked off your land, without getting stuck on old, unnecessary rules. It's about being good enough for right now. And when you start applying this kind of thinking on a global scale, well, the impact is just massive. This isn't just about drawing lines on a map anymore. This is about unlocking human potential for millions and millions of people. Because when the system actually works, it solves all those problems we were just talking about. It guarantees ownership, which gives people the security to get a loan. Disputes over who owns what just plummet. Cities can actually plan for the future. And maybe most importantly, it empowers the most vulnerable people, especially women, and unlocks a ton of economic opportunity. And look, this is not just a theory. Take Rwanda. They launched a nationwide fit-for-purpose program and systematically registered every single piece of land in the country. And they made a point to ensure women's land rights were recognized and protected, which has fundamentally changed the economic power structure for an entire generation. It's incredible. At the end of the day, this is the goal. It's called pro-poor land management. I know it's a bit of a formal term, but what it really means is building a system from the ground up that is designed to protect and empower the most marginalized people. It's making sure they not only have security, but they also have a voice. So it all leaves us with one final, pretty big question. We have the technology to map every star in the galaxy with mind-blowing precision. The tools to solve this problem on Earth already exist. The challenge isn't technical, it's a question of political will. If we can chart the entire cosmos, why can't we secure every person's right to their small place on Earth?